Donna Donna presents Ask Donna, a weekly podcast on a plethora of topics and tips. Donna's podcast is split into 4 distinct sub-podcasts. The first week of the month is where Donna hosts her Ask the Bloggers podcast on such topics as overcoming bullies and bullying, tips on entrepreneurship, and protecting oneself from scams and scammers. The second week of the month is where Donna hosts her Ask the Coach podcast. A bit of this, a bit of that from her monthly Did You Know diary. The third week of the month is where Donna hosts her Ask the Homemaker podcast. Tips on everyday hints to help you take advantage of natural remedies and solutions. And the fourth week of the month is where Donna's podcast is all about her product review and a book review. Sit back and enjoy.
Hey everybody, it's Donna J. Jodhan, and welcome to my February, or the month of February, for my Ask Donna shows. I hope that everybody is doing just peachy. Everybody's doing fine and coping with our winter, which hasn't been that bad after all. If you look at it, the report card is sort of in for this month already. It's been a mildish winter, but we've had some cold weather, we had some snow, and we're hoping that spring is simply just around the corner. Okay? So, here we are for the month of February for my Ask Donna podcast, and this is week 1 for February 2024. And let me just refresh you as to what you can expect for this month. But before doing that, I'd like to thank all of you for your continuing feedback, thoughts, comments, responses. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And for sending in your questions to me at askdonnaonblindlife@gmail.com. All right. So for this month, I must not forget to thank my little brother Mike Chicello out there in Montreal, working hard as a beaver. Thank you, Mike, for your continuing production of my shows and for your words of wisdom and your encouragement. It means the world to me, Mike. So here we go for the month of February, and here's what we are going to be concentrating on for this month, okay? All right. For the first week, we'll be concentrating on Ask the Blogger. For the second week, we will be concentrating on Ask the Coach. For the third week, we will be concentrating on Ask the Homemaker. And for the fourth week, we will be concentrating on Ask the Reviewer and Ask the Writer. Right. So let's get down to business. And I am going to respond to some questions that were sent in to us. I pulled 2 of them or 3 of them out of the bag, and here goes. So here is the first question from a listener. What can one do when they are ganged up upon? What can one do when they are ganged up upon? Well, my response to this is that you tell someone in authority immediately. Do not wait for a second occurrence. Do not try to talk yourself out of it. Do not take anything from the gang members. You have to tell someone in authority about what has happened to you. Okay? Second question. Can moms be entrepreneurs? And my response to that is most definitely. You know, moms are often underestimated for their entrepreneurship abilities, capabilities, prowesses, and simply their ability to create entrepreneurships. Hey, they live with kids, they live with their husbands, they see things every day. They can identify what is needed in a huge dash or in a hurry or at the drop of a hat. So my answer to the question, can moms be entrepreneurs? Most definitely so. And it is often that moms influence their kids and even their husbands to start entrepreneurships. So don't underestimate our moms. Okay? So, for this week, we are going to concentrate on bullying. Those are the two questions that I chose to answer. And now we're going to go into the segment on bullying. Believe it or not, there are folks who are often picked upon or being, bullied for their size, race, or disability. And these are the three types of vulnerability that bullies look for in their victims. Okay? They are probably the most vulnerable types of groups when being picked upon by bullies. If someone is too small or too big, bullies often pounce on them, giving them a hard time because they're too small or giving them a hard time because they're too big. So too small could be like they're too thin, too skinny, undersized, not tall enough. And too big could be like overweight, things like that. So these are three of the most vulnerable groups when it comes to being bullied by bullies. And what do? You stand up to them. It's not easy to stand up to them, but you do your best to stand up to them. Oftentimes, people are also bullied because they are of a different race. And we are living in a world that is made up of a huge, oversized bowl of races. So we got to keep this in mind. And whenever we are bullied for our race, we got to say to ourselves and then say to those bullies, I am part of this world. I belong to this world. And I am proud of my race. And the next group, a disability. Oftentimes, bullies pounce on persons with a disability if they're blind or vision impaired, if they are in a wheelchair, if they have a learning disability, if they have a cognitive disability. This group is often one of the most vulnerable when it comes to being bullied. And bullies not only take their attack to their victims face to face, they do it online and they do it the cyber way. So take note of these three groups that are often bullied by our bullies. Persons with disabilities, they bully persons for their race, and they bully persons because of their size, whether it is big or small. Okay? Now, let's move on to my entrepreneurial tips for this week. And the question is, can one be too young to be an entrepreneur? Response, not at all. An entrepreneur can start as young as 3 or 4 years. And how do they do this? Simple. If they have a lemonade stand, and a lot of youngsters ages 3, 4 and up have lemonade stands, or they sell things at stands on the roadside with the assistance of their parents and adults and adult friends and older ones. So can one be too young to be an entrepreneur? No. Okay, so as young as one with a lemonade stand, It could be a college student looking to earn money and starts an entrepreneurship, maybe delivering papers, maybe, cleaning house, maybe doing the garden, the backyard. These are all examples of a college student using their talents as an entrepreneur. Could be a retiree as well. So what I'm trying to say here is that entrepreneurship does not belong to any particular age group. It can be from the youngest to the oldest. And it could be from anything from a lemonade stand to doing garden, tending garden or the backyard for someone as a college student. As a retiree, it could be as an IT person, software person. It could be anything. Entrepreneurship is wide open. Okay? Now on to our next segment. Tips on scammers and scamming. It's a shame and it's an embarrassment when you find yourself receiving an email saying, "Dear so-and-so, you have been left in someone's will." What are the telltale tips that I can provide to you for such a type of email? Here goes. 1, when you receive an email and someone says, "Dear," they never ever address you by your name. So you're not going to say, "Dear Donna." It's "Hello" or "Dear colon." And then they start rambling on about the fact that you have been left in someone's will. Trust me when I tell you, this someone does not even exist. They make up names of persons from far away. The person could be anywhere in any corner of this world. Okay? Most popular is when they mention someone from Nigeria or from someone from a different part of Africa or someone who has died and, they've left you all these euros or pounds sterling. More than likely, or more often than not, it's always someone who has left you euros or pounds. I haven't really seen anyone leaving you US dollars or Canadian dollars. So be aware when you see that. And the third tip is very often these emails are written in very poor grammatic English. As soon as you see it, please delete it. Do not even send your email address as they're asking you. Do not even provide your name. If you do that, you are opening the floodgates to being scammed. Just delete it and go ahead with the rest of your day. Okay? This is too good to be true. And the sender to you is often unknown. And when they ask you to provide details, don't do it. Okay? Delete it. All right. I'm going to end the show with my thoughts for today. And I'm going back to those self-checkout kiosks. What I have noticed in the past few months is that these self-checkout kiosks are becoming less and less visible at stores. And I am just happy to see that. Why? Because these self-checkout kiosks are a double-edged sword. They not only prevent someone they send up barriers to employment for those who are looking for this type of employment to be cashiers in stores. And when you have a self-checkout kiosk, it inevitably and it just takes away employment from someone who really needs the income. The second thing is that these self-checkout kiosks cannot be used by persons who are technically shy, such as seniors, by persons such as persons with disabilities, because they're screens. We can't enter anything. We can't check to see if we're entering the correct information. So I say good riddance to self-checkout kiosks. Maybe it would benefit the stores because they think that more people would use it. But I know friends have told me that they refuse to use these self-checkout kiosks because they are hindrances and barriers to persons who are looking for employment and to persons with disabilities. Okay? If you would like to know more about me as an advocate, please go to www.sterlingcreations.ca. That's www.sterlingcreations.ca. And look at my blog. So it's sterlingcreations.ca. www.sterlingcreations.ca. Check out the blog, check out the current affairs. And you can also send me an email at askdonnaonblindlife@gmail.com. That's askdonnaonblindlife@gmail.com. That's it for me for this week, folks. First week of February 2024. Thank you for listening in. Thank you, Mike, for being behind the scenes. And we will talk to you later. Have a good rest of the day. Have a good rest of the week. Thank you, and bye for now.
That's it for this week. Donna hopes that you enjoyed her podcast today. She thanks you for having taken the time to tune in and looks forward to being with you next week. Send your thoughts and feedback to Donna at askdonnaonblindlife@gmail.com.